Hi guys, welcome back to 7th Crown Tarot. My name's Louise, and today I'm going to be doing a video specifically aimed towards people that are very new to the spiritual community, because there's a lot of labeling and kind of getting, I find when I was first getting started in all of this, there was a lot of stuff to weed through, and it took a really long time to experiment and find what worked for me specifically, which is kind of the point, right? So when we're making a spiritual, when we're going down this spiritual path, we want to make it very customized because each and every one of us is different. That's why I don't specifically, I don't line up with dogmatic views around religiosity. I don't know if that's a word, but like religions, like any one specific religion. I tend to cherry pick from different faiths, and for me it's more about finding the strands of truth within each one and combining it all into like a core truth. So that kind of gives you an idea of who I am and where I come from in terms of like the way that I think about all of this. So I'm going to be breaking this down into a few different sections, and one of the most important parts that I'm going to be focusing on is getting to your highest timeline. Obviously we all want to get to our highest timeline, especially when we're talking about spirituality. A lot of us talk about, oh, I want to be enlightened, and how do I get to like that state of being where it's like always bliss? And I just want to say that that is very impractical, and it's denying the truth of existence. Where I want to get you to, hopefully, at the end of this video, is understanding that it's more about embracing the truth that comes along with being alive. Because we're here for a reason. This is more of a school than anything. And once we leave here, who knows where we go. But it depends, I believe, on how much we've learned and the types of lessons that we've learned here. And to me, there is no heaven or hell in the afterlife. Heaven or hell is a continuum. You are either closer to hell or you are closer to heaven at any given point. Okay, so I'm kind of rambling now. So, let's see. I'm just gonna take a moment to try to create like a little chapters type thing. So just give me a moment, and I'm gonna break down all my different thoughts into different chapters, and we'll get started. So the 3 chapters ahead are going to be experiencing your own personal hell, self-discovery, and then self-actualization. So if that sounds good to you, and you want to learn about these different chapters and what's to come if you are currently in your own personal hell, which I am very sorry, I've been through that, and it is very difficult, but you can make it through, and it's kind of cool seeing what's waiting ahead of you. So feel free to watch this whole video if you'd like, and let me know if I missed anything if you've already been through it. Okay, see you in the next chapter. To your own personal hell. This is the first fundamental step of reaching your higher self. And it's not an easy one. In fact, I would say that this is the hardest step of all, because it shatters your entire existence. It shatters everything that you know from your past paradigm, but it is absolutely necessary. It is an experiencing of your own hell, which is why I also mentioned that hell and heaven don't exist in like one specific time. It's in a continuum at all times. You're either in it or, you know, it's like a spectrum. Anyway, so if you are currently experiencing your own version of hell, congratulations. You are going towards the right direction, towards experiencing your own personal heaven, which is where your higher self resides, and they accept all truth, light and dark, meaning you absolutely have to experience this dark so that you know to your core what's there, what it's like, who you are at your core, what you are capable of at any given time, and that you are unstoppable. So I'm just going to list off a few things here that characterize a feeling of hell. It feels like void. So it's like nothingness. You scream and no one can hear you. At least that's how it felt for me. This is all coming from personal experience, by the way. So the things that I'm explaining here, they're things that I intimately know. In case you couldn't tell. You are surrounded by all different types of torture, and they are very specific to your trauma, your specific nature, who you are. I also see paralysis. So it is a type of paralysis. You feel like no matter what you do, you can't get out of it. And that is because you're there for a reason until you learn your lessons. So in order to learn your lessons, you are tested. Your character is tested in this place. So you're either going to have internal tests or external tests. And what I mean by that is you're either going to be tested in like by your internal demons or external demons. For me, it was more external. So also I want to say demons are not a bad thing or a good thing. They are a tool for the divine. They're a tool for the divine to help us transform, because they are low vibrational beings and they're here to test us. So they act in ways that trigger us. So neither good nor bad. It's a very important thing to think. Very good shift in perspective as well. So externally, when you are tested with demons, they act through people as who are low vibrational vessels. So these are people who are not really aware of their actions, or they're just deciding that they're going to continue acting in a low vibrational manner because they're not ready to transform. And so they do things impulsively that hurt people. And that's where the saying hurt people comes from. They hurt people as like an impulse because that adrenaline rush, you know, it feels good, but that comes from the demonic realm, which pulls them down further. So that's their own journey. And the point is that's how you will externally be triggered by people. And those triggers are very specific to you, as we've mentioned. Internally, it comes up as thoughts that hurt. They hurt even more because you've denied the fact that you've been thinking them for so long. And so they start eating you up. And this is its own form of hell. This could also be internal, as in addictions, right? So you could have some sort of addiction to something. It could be in minor ways, but it also could be in really extreme ways. And this gives you chances to slowly break through. It gives you chances to slowly spiral up into the higher realms. And there's this point where if you've made enough positive decisions, and I say positive as true to your character, your core character, who you are on the higher realms, you reaching out. When you make enough of those decisions, you pass enough tests, you then graduate. You graduate from hell. And you are escorted out of hell by demons who help you out of tricky situations. And like we mentioned before, demons are neither good nor bad. And in this case, they are very benevolent. Benevolent meaning, okay, I'm using that word without knowing the definition, but look up the word benevolent. I mean it as like, I should also look up the definition, but I mean it as like, they're here to help you out. They're here to protect you in getting you out of hell because you've passed all the tests. So no matter what anyone can do, or anyone tries to do or say, these demons will help you out. And they also wanted me to pull a card, specifically because one knocked on some wood beside me when I was writing stuff down about it, so let's see what else they want me to mention. Something about intuition. Okay, no, they want me to look at the book. Okay, the High Priestess came out during this period of time where you where you're exiting out of hell. Unconscious intuition, mystery, spirituality, higher power, and inner voice. So what they want me to tell you is that during this time, when you are escorted out of the demonic realm, you will be connected with your higher self again, and you'll feel like a click. You will access some sort of like keys. They want to remind you, when you are in hell, to remain patient in love, continue keeping a calm exterior with inner passion and self-intimacy. So, passion, like a passion towards life, like not giving up. Not giving up because you're a warrior. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next chapter. Thank you for sticking through that. Now let's see what else. What is the next part? Second chapter, after you've gotten out of hell, is a period of self-discovery. This is often when we see people cutting their hair, remaking how they look, but it also just comes from like you know, post-breakup or something like that. That comes from like a very, like a deep need within people to try to like switch paradigms, I believe. So this is characterized by rediscovering your likes and dislikes, indulging in your self-love practices, and engaging in something that I never knew the definition of until today, which is chaos magic. But if you were to just say it in plain terms, it's rewriting your thoughts to believe something different. And writing the thoughts that you think that your higher self thinks. And we're constantly having to do this in order to reach that higher self. And the work never ends. Like, it's constant. Because I don't know, I think here on this planet, because we're so, or this plane, this physical plane, because we're so low vibrational, because it's physical, everything is like stiff and, you know, it has its place. I think there's only a certain level that we can reach here, and we can keep trying to push, but Anyway, that's a different tangent. So this is thinking about new thoughts, implementing new actions, so like routines and healthier eating, starting to exercise, taking care of our skin, brushing our teeth, flossing, going to the dentist and stuff like that, you know, like taking care of ourselves. Also, how do they look? What do they do? What do they accept from others, and what do they not accept? In other words, what are their boundaries? This is honoring the sacred no. This could also include a period where you're reparenting yourself, so where parts of you were fragmented, and you might have like a toxic inner dialogue in either one of your parents internally. So when you were growing up, you had like an internal parent, like a father, and then an internal mother. But then you've also got these other aspects of you from different ages that might have had trauma. And if you have very traumatic experiences, your soul fragments, and during this time is a really good time to go and do soul retrieval. So we leave parts of ourselves in these past parts, and we have to go and retrieve them back. We can do this through meditation. There's a lot of nice guided meditations online, which I've personally made use of, and it's very effective. It brings you into a state of wholeness. That's what this chapter is all about. You could also go and do some counseling, which would be like cognitive behavioral therapy. You could do some talk therapy. This would also possibly include a period of travel. So seeing yourself in other people and reclaiming that idea that people are good inherently. And not only this, but this time period will also have you planting many different seeds so that in the future you can see what sprouts up. So that is this chapter. And as you can see, there's a lot of complexity to it, but you kind of get an idea of who this person, who your future person is going to look like, what kinds of things they're going to be into, and how that differs from your past chapters of your life. It's kind of hard to fully wrap your head around it, and most likely during this time you're going to be experiencing something called cognitive dissonance, which is like this, but it's a good thing. It's this feeling of like really, it's deep discomfort, and it's when your inner world doesn't really match your outer world, if I'm not mistaken. But that's a sign that you're doing something right. You're shifting into a different paradigm when you're experiencing cognitive dissonance. Okay, so let's move on to the third chapter. So this is the third chapter, self-actualization, and this is characterized by heightened intuition. So you kind of don't have to think too hard about what you're going to do. You just innately know if it's right or wrong, and you're able to pause and really think before you act, for the most part. Obviously, we're not perfect here, nobody's perfect, but you kind of realize that at this point, this is the point at which you start to line up with your highest self. It also is characterized by practicing what you preach on a fairly consistent basis, which makes you a very confident and dependable person. This also brings in your community, your soul family. You start to find people that resonate at the same frequency as you, and really just stay for life. And you're able to embrace sorrow, happiness, mistakes, and understand that everything and everyone holds purpose in your life. You can kind of just see what your purpose is in other people's lives and what their purpose is in your life, because we're constantly learning. You learn to walk away or distance yourself from unhealed people that refuse to learn, because this is also a time period where you'll be called by source, divine, whatever you want to call God or whatever you believe in, to start teaching people that are at a lower vibration through certain kinds of lessons that you're put through, how to evolve. And you will know exactly what your role is, and you'll be able to see exactly what you have to do next. Because also the people that were, oh, I have a cool caveat to talk about after this. Okay, sorry. You realize that not everyone has your best intentions at heart. And this kind of goes back to people being wounded sometimes, and them acting from that place rather than acting from a place of healthy love, because not everyone is healed, and that's okay. That's just life. Not everyone is ready to heal in this lifetime, because it's very scary. As you can see, healing requires going through hell, everyone's own personal hell, and making it out. And sometimes that can be a very, very scary thought. But if you have been through your own hell, you realize that everything that you went through was worth it in the end, because heaven and being connected to your higher source is just so much more magnificent and vast and huge than and purposeful than all the pain that you went through. The pain that you went through feels very minuscule compared to getting to the other end of it. I can guarantee anyone that is currently going through their own hell that it's worth it all in the end if you keep learning your lessons and keep making the right decision, even if it feels very unfair. Realize that this is a gift to go through hell, and to not be angry at it, but to rather embrace it, because it's there for a reason, and it's not there forever. At least it shouldn't be. So that's what I have to say about... The cicadas start screaming in the background. That's what I have to say about reaching your highest self. I hope these 3 chapters have helped. I'll probably be talking about other stuff soon, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about here. I think that gives a nice brief overview, and if you want to check out some of my tarot readings, you can definitely do that. Also, if you want a personal tarot reading, I do that too, and just email me down in the description. I have different rates for different lengths of reading, and if you want to leave a like, subscribe, or comment, I would greatly appreciate that in exchange for our energy here. And if not, that's okay too. I still appreciate you being here, and I wish you best of luck on your journey. It is not an easy one, but I promise you it's worth it. Okay, bye guys! Okay, I'm so happy I just looked back at the footage, because I realized that I forgot to talk about that tangent that I was going down mentally. It was the caveat. So this is kind of just like a side tangent, and it's not going to apply to everybody. This is for all my healers out there. People that feel like they're supposed to heal large amounts of people. There's a large chance that if in this time you feel like you're called to heal people in the light, in a past lifetime that you were the person causing suffering to another person, like deep suffering, and causing them to ascend into the light. So then in this lifetime, you had to repay that karma and suffer under the similar type of hell that you put someone else through that got them to their higher self. And this was something that Spirit told me last night, very recently, but it was a really deep realization and like an aha moment for me, and I think that was something that allowed me to see people differently, because there are a lot of people that I've met along my path that have hurt me deeply, and I've made the wrong idea of them being, after the whole situation is done, as them being bad. But that's not true, because if you think about it, that's actually a beautiful thing, kind of like going through hell. Like, that had to happen for me to realize my true potential. And it's not even about the person at that point. It's about, like, it's all centered around your experience. So, where was I going with this? Anyway, I just had that kind of realization. So if you are currently suffering under someone's hands, or you're doing ill will towards other people, like, obviously we all just have to forgive ourselves and forgive the people around us, and that's why. Because in the end, it kind of doesn't really matter about the person. It's about our own personal ascension and realizing the things that we need to learn as spiritual beings living in human bodies. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that, and I'm gonna make another video talking about specific tools that you can use when you're going through hell, and just on all parts of your journey to help you elevate at a faster rate, because I've experimented with some of these, and I'll just share some of my favorites in another video, probably the next one actually. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you an abundance of knowledge. If you need to watch it over a few times, I would definitely recommend that. I watched the video and I was a bit overwhelmed by all of the knowledge, and I feel like some of it was just channeling too, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, I hope you have a great evening, morning, night, whenever you're watching this video, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye guys!